The fog rolled in thick from the river, wrapping the streets in silence. Dorian Gray walked alone, his coat pulled tight, his breath white in the cold air. He had left behind the laughter, the lights, the endless glitter of high society. Now he wandered through another London, the one that woke only after midnight, filled with lost souls and fading dreams. The gas lamps burned low, casting long shadows on the wet stones. He passed faces that looked once human, now hollow with hunger and sin. In their eyes he saw fragments of himself, broken reflections of what he had become. He entered an opium den by the docks, where smoke curled like ghosts around the ceiling. Men lay in silence, chasing dreams through poison. Dorian joined them, seeking forgetfulness, but memory followed him like a heartbeat. "You look too fine for this place," someone murmured beside him. "What brings you here, pretty boy?" Dorian smiled faintly. "To forget." "Then you've come to the wrong place," the voice answered. He turned and froze. A man was watching him through the haze. His face was older, weathered by sea and hate, but his eyes burned with recognition. "Dorian Gray," the man whispered, "I thought you were dead." The world went still. It was James Vane, Sybil's brother, the man who had sworn vengeance. "You destroyed her," James said, his voice shaking, "and now I've found you." Dorian's blood turned to ice. "You're mistaken," he said quickly. "Look at me. Do I seem old enough to have known your sister 20 years ago?" James hesitated. The light flickered across Dorian's perfect face, smooth, untouched, ageless. Doubt crept into his eyes. "No," he whispered. "You're too young." Dorian smiled, calm on the surface but trembling beneath. When James turned away, Dorian slipped into the fog, his heart pounding like thunder. He had escaped death again, but somewhere behind the mist, the man's voice echoed faintly, "I'll find you again, Dorian Gray." No soul hides forever. Sunshine returned to London, and with it, Dorian Gray. He appeared again in salons and gardens, surrounded by flowers, perfume, and admiration. His friends said he had never looked better. His beauty, if possible, seemed even brighter now, like a mirror polished by sin. "You vanished for weeks, Dorian," said one of the ladies at his table. "What do you do with your time?" He smiled, sipping his wine slowly. "I live," he said softly. "Isn't that enough?" Laughter followed, light and careless. But behind that laughter, Dorian heard echoes, the voice of the man in the fog, the sound of footsteps that never stopped. He tried to ignore it. The music played. The sun poured gold across the garden. Lord Henry leaned toward him, his voice smooth and cold as ever. "You're glowing tonight, my dear boy Sika," Isi Ari said. "You've discovered the secret of eternal joy." Dorian looked at him quietly. "Joy?" he repeated, as if tasting the word for the first time. "No, Henry, I've only learned how to smile." For a moment, their eyes met. Two men who no longer believed in anything but beauty. Then the music rose again, and the conversation drifted away. But when Dorian passed by a mirror, he thought, just for an instant, he saw someone else smiling back, a reflection that wasn't his own. He looked again. Nothing. Only perfection. Only the shadow behind it. Autumn returned, and with it came the fog, thick, gray, and full of whispers. Dorian Gray tried to forget. He filled his nights with laughter, with music, with anything that made him feel alive. But fear has a way of finding silence. One evening, he joined a group of friends for a hunt in the countryside. The air was sharp with the scent of pine and gunpowder. "You look pale, Dorian," Lord Henry said, adjusting his gloves. "Perhaps the city has spoiled you." Dorian smiled faintly. "Perhaps." The dogs barked, the horn sounded, and in the distance, a shot echoed through the mist. A man cried out. They ran toward the sound. There, among the fallen leaves, a body lay still. A huntsman, face turned to the sky. Dorian froze when he saw him. The features were rough, the beard unshaven, but the eyes were familiar. Someone whispered, "His name's James Vane." The world tilted. For a long moment, Dorian couldn't breathe. Then a strange calm washed over him, part relief, part emptiness. "An accident," Lord Henry said softly. "A tragic accident." Dorian nodded, though his hands shook. That night, he stood alone beneath the trees. The moonlight touched his face, gentle as mercy. "It's over," he whispered. "It must be over." But in the stillness, he heard something. A faint sound, like breathing behind him. He turned sharply. Nothing. Only fog. Only silence. And yet, he couldn't shake the feeling that somewhere the portrait was smiling.